Okay. And we are so excited to be together on this Friday, another week of BulaFit down. Everybody's feeling a little bit better, a little more energy, clothes are fitting a little looser, and sleeping a little better. We're excited for that. So maybe, Kristi, one of the things we can do at the start here is just have a few people share a couple of experiences, and then we'll turn it over to you as to how the week has been. How's everybody
Yeah,
doing this week?
I love that. Let's hear your wins this week. No, someone wants to share. I've been super excited about the things that you're posting in the chat group and out on the Facebook page. Please keep those coming. Get loud and proud about what you're doing.
Well, I can say I was super glad for some of the sport and go to help my dad get back on his feet. So, and the ATP balance, I'd give that to him right away, and a couple of the EFA reds, and yeah, it was quite a miracle, honestly.
Wonderful, Rena. We are glad that he's back up on his feet and doing all right. That's amazing.
I have more than once pulled what we have out of my toolbox to help someone in the space of need and fortification with their body. And just a couple of days of that being introduced into the body, and all of a sudden things seem to be working a little differently. So it's exciting to be able to share these products and this information and what you're learning in the health space with others. So please continue to do that. If you do not advocate for yourself, no one else will either. So, let's be proponents of health. Let's heal thyself, healthy self, right? So putting yourself on the top of the list, making yourself a priority, and then doing what we do to keep ourselves safe and healthy and fortified is key to all of that.
I noticed Angelica and Susan had their cameras on. I didn't know if either of you had something to share.
I will share. So this week my share is I borrowed my mom's products because mine aren't here yet, so that I can get started. So I did do that. So I'm very happy to be here. Pick my brain if you need to. I'm here to help. So not only help myself, but I'm here to help anybody else.
Angelica
Wonderful.
is a fantastic resource, not only in BulaFit, but in the fitness world as well. So I know she's taught some group fitness classes out there. She's a plethora of knowledge. She's got great tips to share. So, lean into what she's sharing too. You never know who's in the group and who's got something to say or something to share. And your experiences and your testimonies are so, so important. We could do lots of research. We can pull from the internet. We can pull from data banks. But when it's you and me and we're just doing the thing and then we're getting these kinds of results, it's really impactful, and it could be the thing that someone else needs to hear. Maybe I don't have the same issue that someone else does or that contends with, but when you share how this is helping you in that space of your lack or need and how it's changing things for you, then when someone in a conversation with me says, da 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 da, and I say, I just heard someone talk about this week, and maybe in the thought process, this might be appropriate for you too. This is how it was affecting them. This is how it aided them or supported them in whatever it was that they were doing, right? So I love that. Please be loud and proud. Please get to know the people in this group. You have amazing people in here. I don't know if you've known, but in the past, we've had NFL players, we've had professional football players, we've had, I think I said that twice. We've had Olympic athletes. We have had doctors and nurses and professionals and psychiatrists and people that understand on different levels. And so when the collective gets together, we have some pretty dynamic conversations. And Todd himself is a dynamo in being able to communicate things that people contend with in their health space in a very unaggressive, very understanding way. And it's helped me in this space too. And I am so thankful for that. Anybody else want to share? Susan, how about you or Mr. Mike? What's going on?
Well, I had my doctor's appointment yesterday, and I think, I mean, I, I was really, I mean, I was really like stressed about going because, all the things came back and but he was totally on board. I got to tell him about the ginger and the turmeric and the fact that I'd already lost like 13 pounds just in like 2 weeks. So, um, he said he was happy with what I was doing. We're trying to get some other things straightened out as far as like leg swelling and that kind of stuff. So we're working on it, but yeah, it was actually overall it was actually a really good thing, and he was totally on board with what I was doing. So
the thing I'm excited about is your body knows what to do. And as soon as you're consistent in the practice of continuing to do it, the body will respond to that. And so I'm super excited for you, Susan. We have to be in communication with our doctors, and we have to tell them what we're doing, because they are just one component of our overall health and wellness, right? And we get to see them 15 minutes. So when I come into the room and Todd asks me how I am today, I don't give him my list of pains and aches and pre-diagnosis. I'm like, oh, I'm great, right? And so when you see your doctor, there's a moment where you kind of disconnect in the mind of the list of things that you went there for, because you're excited to see that person, right? And so it's like, I either have to take a list or I have to remember that these are the 4 things that I need to talk about today to make sure that they're in the space of understanding what's really going on with me. It'd be hard for me to make a diagnosis in a matter of 15 minutes. That's my opinion. But if I know you well and I'm traveling the health journey with you, it makes it a lot easier for me to be prescriptive about the things that I'm recommending that you do, right? Good job. None of us should be too scared about the doctor, because in a couple of weeks, that's all going to look better. So that's what I'm excited for. Todd, do you have anything else before I kind of get started?
No, go right ahead. Thank you.
All right.
Great to
Well,
hear
thank
from
you.
people.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, please just keep it coming. Well, I'm excited to be with you on another Feel Good Friday right here at the BulaFit Fitness part of your program. And so this week, I just posted a new slide, like literally while we we're getting on this call, out to the Facebook page. And it's got your torch segment. It's 4 more movements this week. We're going to do the high banded crab walk. I've got a banded hip thrust for you. I've got a banded alternating low row for you in a seated position, and some bicycle sit-ups. Now, the good news is I brought my chair on the other side over here, my friend chair over here. I've got my yoga mat, and I'm going to show you those movements, not only in the form of what you're seeing on the tile there, but in a little bit of a pullback, right? In the very start of that. So if you're not able to get down on the floor, how can you do these movements within the confinements that you might have? Maybe you don't have a long haul and you can't get 15 steps down on those high banded catwalks, but you can stand right in place and go from one side to the other. So I'll give you some alternations, I'll give you some modifications and some other ideas of how you might be able to do what I've posted out there to meet your own energy and match your level of movement. So remember, safety first, always safety first. If getting down on the floor, like I said, is a safety concern for you, please don't attempt to do that. So please stay standing or seated to do your movements. Remember, breathing is very important. It's that triple X effect, right? So we got to exhale on the exertion of the movement so that our heart doesn't explode. We have to release the blood pressure. So exhale, exertion, no explosion. That's how I want you to remember, right? So blow it out when it's hard, when it's heavy, and inhale to reload your bloodstream with oxygen when you're preparing to do the next movement, okay? All right. If you have questions about any of this, post them in the group chat, post them on the page, post them or send them to me directly in a private message. Please don't be intimidated by movement. Nothing is unfixable, right? We can do all of the movements all together. Like I said, I lead a full hour class 2 times a week for people that are 65 and up or with mobility or limitations. And we get it done and we have a good time and we even sweat and then we laugh and we have a great, great community. So this is what we're doing today. And here's what's going on for you. I'm going to start out. Let me get back to my picture real quick. I'm going to start out with a high banded crab walk. And if you've gotten your BulaFit bands, keep them handy, right? Keep them handy. They're a great traveler too. So find the right one for you in the resistance. There's 4 different sizes. If you haven't gotten your set yet, I think you can get them over at the Top Shelf Nutra website in your back office. So order them up. You got 4 different levels. You've got a light, a medium, a heavy, and then an extra heavy. Your orange ones are extra heavy. I'm going to go with the blue today. That's a medium, but you start where you need to, right? And maybe you don't need a band at all. Maybe we just need to practice the movements for a little bit until you feel like maybe some resistance might be helpful. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stand up. I'm going to work with the screen as I'm doing it. Okay, it's a little bit harder to see, but I'm gonna do it. The videos are going to be very clear about what we're doing. All right, so without a band, I'm going to come to a little bit of a demi-squat position. My hands are in a hollow hold and they're here by my shoulders. I'm going to travel laterally, so side to side, back and forth. The tile is going to say up to 15 steps one direction. The hall is a great place to do this. So travel the length of the hall and then come back down. Rest 30 to 60 seconds, get back to your position and do it again. 3 to 4 rounds of this, okay? That's what I'm looking for. So this little lower position, I'm going to step laterally. I keep my feet forward, toes parallel to the front, and I just travel right like this, okay? Now, I've got about enough room for 4 steps. So if I did this 3 times, now I'm at 12, okay? And you notice that I'm not coming up and then getting low, coming up and getting low. That's not what I'm doing. I'm staying low in the resistance and traveling in that position. Okay, so I want you to try that. Now, let's do it with a band. I'll slip that on real quick. I'm gonna get it up around the knees here. So right above the kneecaps or mid-thigh. The higher up, the more resistance, okay? Now, let's say I don't have the hall to travel. So I can start here in the low position, step to one side, step to the other, step to one side, back to the other. Exhale, inhale. Inhale through the center. Inhale and step out. I'm exhaling to get back to center, okay? So there's your movement with the band. All right. Let's say that's just a lot. And that's not going to be what we do today. I want you to sit in a chair. Same position here. March. Okay, you can high march here. Or you could step out and back together. One side, then the other. Just like that. Exhale to pull the leg into the center. That's the harder part of the movement. All right? Awesome. Nice work with that. Okay, next one is a banded hip thrust. Let's talk about hip thrusting off the floor. If hip thrusting is not in the wheelhouse, I want to hinge behind the chair, okay? So here, feet are about as wide as the chair legs. I'm holding on for support. I'm going to push back with my glutes here so I can come to about a 90-degree position with the floor. And then I'm going to exhale and push back up to standing, okay? So here, back up. Here, back up. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way back to standing, okay? Excellent. All right. Without a band on the floor, we're going to start in a lying down position. My arms are flat to the floor. I'm going to go 90 degrees with my elbows so that I can push down through my elbows on the floor. My hips or my feet are a little bit wider than hips. And then as I push my belly button up to the ceiling, I'm going to thrust here and tighten my hamstrings and my glutes. I raise it up and lower it down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. One more. Excellent. If you feel tightness in your hamstrings, move your heels farther away from your bottom. If there's not enough resistance, you can tighten up a little bit, okay? If you're getting those cramps, we might need to stretch and build up some hamstrings before we try it in this position. So go back to the standing one and use the support there to help you build that up, all right? So banded we're just going to put them back on. The band's going back on around my legs here, up above my knees. Same thing in that position. It's just giving me more resistance. So when I'm pushing up, my legs are going to actually push up and apart as I'm doing it. Okay, so here, push down to the floor. And then as I elevate, I press out and return. Up and out, back down. Up and out, back down. All right, 3 different ways to do that one. Next, it is a one arm, it's a single arm alternating row. So you'll sit in the seated position. You can be on the floor. This one you can do on the couch also. So sit on the couch and turn your feet so that you've got them up on the couch also. 1 foot, I'll get your questions in just a sec. I do see them coming through. Just stick with me. 1 foot is going in the band and I'm holding the band with that same arm. My other hand is here on my chest so that I'm not wrenching and pulling. It's giving me good support. I decline just a little bit, roll my shoulders back, and now I'm going to pull the band and turn it to the upright position. Okay. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 2 counts forward, 2 counts back, and I'm trying to touch my hip. If I don't, that's okay. So here, okay, that's that seated position. If I wanted to do it in the chair, I still can. I hook it around one of my feet, pull my chest forward, and now I'm going to do that same thing off to the side. Here. Rose here. All right. So that one I think is doable. Without weights, you just do the same pulling motion with your hands. Okay. So without the resistance band, I could do this. Or if I'm seated on the couch, here, right? But it's important that I have that little bit of decline because now my core is engaged. I roll my shoulders back and now my back muscles are doing the pulling, not my chest and my biceps. All right. Like I said, if you have questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. All right. The last one is a bicycle sit-up. This is a little bit more advanced. So let's talk about where to start and then how to get there, right? In a seated position, I can do crunches here, okay? Hollow hold, hands in this hollow position at my shoulders, and I'm crunching myself forward. I keep my chin to my chest, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. I'm contracting my abdominal wall here to pull me forward, and then back up from the side. Let's say you wanted to add the bicycle pedal. So legs are doing this as you're crunching. Excellent. From a more neutral position, the hardest one is more here, right? Where I'm in this position and I'm here with that bicycle. That one's tough. Lots of core engagement. Let's move it to the floor. Let's say bicycle is a lot. So I can stay on the floor and alternate here. And when I'm ready, I can add upper body here. All right. All right. Lots of new stuff. Try it. That's all you got to do. I didn't say master it. There's no test. Okay. So just practice. Just try it and see what suits you. If that doesn't feel right, let me know. Here's the rule. Java. No pain, ever. No pain. If it's sharp, stabbing, shooting, long lasting, throbbing, burning, stop immediately. Okay. Let me know what happened, what you were doing, and we'll figure out what we need to do to modify that. Okay. I know shoulders, hips, knees, ankles can all be an issue because of They just have a lot to do, and we need them to work a lot longer than they're really built for. And that's the truth. So we have to do what we can do to keep ourselves moving, to keep our bodies going, to keep ourselves flexible and mobile and stable and in balance. And that's really what this is all about. What questions do you have for me about those things? And Todd, did you see anything in the chat that I need to respond to?
No, nothing to respond to. Some good comments in there about the modifications and stretching. So good stuff.
I didn't hear that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, can you hear me?
It's a little muffled.
Oh, it's probably my headphones. Sometimes they do. How about now? Can you hear me on the microphone?
Perfect.
I was just going to say that there were a few comments, just basic tips to, regarding modifications, regarding stretching, things like that. So nothing that you need to respond to, just some good suggestions.
Perfect. I do love that. I think it's super important that you warm your body up. Whenever I am with a client in the gym, they spend the first 7 minutes on some sort of cardio apparatus, warming their bodies up. I'm not looking for them to get to cardio. I just need them to get their muscles moving and their blood pumping so that we're ready to go. The joints themselves create something called synovial fluid. And so when we pump or when we do this motion of movement, I'm pumping the synovial fluid into the joint like out of the oil can, so that I'm good and lubricated for movement, so that I don't have dysfunction when I'm doing different things in the right range of motion, right? So that's the good thing. And I want you to do those things. Simple things for a warm up. And maybe this is something else I'll post as a simple warm up for you, about 5 minutes. But make sure you get that deep breathing, right? In for 4, exhale for 4, in for 4, exhale for 4. Give some shoulder rolls in there, front and back. Use the elbows. And the other way. Come across front. Go nice and wide and get that chest to open up. And then high and to the side. So we get some stretches in the oblique or the sides here, your side muscles here. A gentle twist. And you can do all of this from a chair as well. So that rotation to help with that spine rotation. You can cat-cow, so you stretch the back out and open up. A good one for hips is hula hoop. So go a little bit wider than your feet or your hips. Knees are bent, and you're going to push yourself into all the range of motion. And really push through that. So you get some stretching. Other way. The one I really want you to practice is some pelvic tilting. And here's why. Because really this is control central for your core. And so a lot of us get locked into either here and this anterior flexion or here where we're arched, posterior flexion. So I want you to go a little wider than the hips again and just rock in. You're pulling it in. So you got the old man cashew, right? Chin to chest. And then push it out. So you got your good Kim Kardashian, right? If I say that, everybody knows where to go. So the booty's out. And then tuck it in. And then push it out. Tuck it in. Push it out. And then in here somewhere in between, there, if I look like I sneeze, achoo. Now I've got all that good core engagement. And I'm really got that good stability. I'm using my own body as support, and I can do a lot of things. So I want you to practice some of that just engaging that core and feeling that strength all the way down to the lower core area. It's called bear down strength. Women know it because of having babies. Males know what I'm talking about because they go to the bathroom, right? That's their poop strength. So that's what I'm talking about as far as that internal strength, that internal core engagement. It's going to make a lot of these movements a lot easier. Anything else? Any questions,
Just some
comments?
requests that you post those as well.
Perfect. I'll see if I can actually chop it out of this once we post it out, and then I can put it out there. If not, I'll just shoot something simple. About a 5 to 7 minute warm up. That's a great movement segment in itself. Just that stretching, a little bit on the yoga side, really focus on the breathing. So important. All right. Well, we're at 9:26. I wanted to make sure we got through those movements. We're working through things, right? Last week was decision week and load in, acclimation. And that's what I heard Monique call it, was acclimation. And I like that. So this week, we're really starting to focus, right? You were really focused on your fueling your body. You were really focused on getting your videos done. Get in the practice of the routine so that this doesn't become a stack of things that you need to work through, right? Do it when you can. You got to. It's the learning part of it. And it's the time for your mind to expand and for you to learn about these things so that there's an understanding in the mind-body connection of why is Chef Jennifer and Robin, why do they keep asking me to do these things? Why do they keep putting these things in front of me? And all of a sudden, in a few weeks, the understanding will come through and the body will be in rhythm. And it's not going to be something that you're thinking about anymore. It's just going to be something that you do. We're creating a daily method of operation. That's what we're really trying to do for you. We're trying to give you, what does an ideal day in your life of health look like? How do you start the day? How do you progress through the morning? When is your meal? When do you do movement? Where's hydration, right? How is your sleep? Because that's going to impact the day. So those kinds of things are things that we're trying to bring to the top of the mind when we get together in these settings, so that then they become routine, right? The brain is full of gray matter. And when we think a thought and we think it again and we think it again and we think it again, we start to carve a pattern into our brain. And it's just like when we have a thought, then it's like a river, right? And the thought is going to go to the path of least existence. So wherever we've carved the deepest path, that's where the thought wants to go. It takes really kind of intentional effort to change that. So that's why we say 21 days to 31 days to create a new habit, because we're really trying to transition some thought patterns in the brain. I want to keep thinking the new thoughts over and over and over until they become my beliefs, right? That's what beliefs are. A thought that you think over and over and over until you believe it. And so then that will change how I do other things, how I make decisions, how I respond to stress, how I am in relationships. It's all full circle. So I know it's a lot and we're only getting going. And so just stay linked arms, ask all the questions. I want you to know if you have that question, someone else does too. And you don't know what you don't know. And there's a lot you don't know, especially in week 2. So just stick to it, stick to the basics. Get in your app or use your tracking sheet to help you. It's not meant to be a long, arduous task list, right? It's meant to help you pinpoint through certain times of the day to see where you are and what do I need to do. Do I still need to watch my videos? Have I gotten my movement in? Where am I at with hydration, right? Maybe if I'm out of whack, the first thing I should do is drink some water, because your bodies are 60 to 70% water and your brain is 80. So for goodness sake, get some water. Other things about that too, hunger will come through as a thirst cue. Our thirst sensation does not work well, so sometimes you will feel hungry, and what you really need is about 8 ounces of water. Cold water is best, because then the body has to raise the temperature of the water back up to body temperature, so there's a little bit of a thermogenic response in there too. Helps you with some fat loss. All right? Questions for me so far? Well, I do not have to wear a flannel today. That was yesterday. Yesterday was Flannel Friday. There was snow coming down. I know you have a lot of things to do today and this weekend. Thank you for taking time to spend some of it with me. Like I said, I'm going to get those videos posted out. And then if you've got questions, concerns, you need modifications, please don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, if you need it, I bet someone else does too. When we do this together, it takes some of the guesswork out of it for others, right? Let's say you ask the question, I give the answer, and then later on today, someone watches a replay and they go, I had that question too. So see how we're doing everyone a service. So get loud and proud. Go out there and smash the share. Go invite 3 of your friends to join us this weekend. It's not too late. It never is. So it's more fun when we do it in the masses. It's more fun than when there's a bunch of us. It's more fun when it's your friends and your buddies and your family doing this thing with you. My own daughter did BulaFit when she was in high school, and I know that that's the reason that she felt and looked the way she did in her senior pictures and as she started her senior year. And she was one of those COVID girls that didn't get to go back after spring break. So this thing right here is the thing that kept her in the game and kept her safe and made her feel confident. And that's huge for someone that's 17 or 18 and a female, right? It's huge for all of us. That confidence is huge in how we show up on the daily. And now she's getting married. And just yesterday she said, Mom, what's that thing with the BulaFit thing? I see it's going on again. So could you tell me more about it? And can I get that shake thing so I can make my waffles? So look at that. It's the little things that people remember about this thing. Go out there and get loud. Someone will see it. If someone used to do this with you, maybe they were on a team in the past or a part of the community and you don't see them here, reach out. Maybe it's you that they're waiting for. Okay. So go get some friends, come do this thing, keep your movement, stay in the pillars, ask the questions, and have some fun. That's the most important. Todd, I'm shooting it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kristi. That was wonderful. Thank you for your dedication and keeping it simple with moderation so everybody can relate and find the movements that are best for them. Just as a final word, we have our training class tomorrow, and it's going to be a cooking class. So tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, Jen Winder will be teaching us how to use the Vital Fuel Shake in some recipes and some fun things to cook. So excited about this, Kristi. So much appreciative of you. And as you said, invite everybody to get loud and proud on the social media platforms, and let's bring new folks into the family. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your movement day.
Thank you.
Bye. Happy
Bye.
Friday.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I have to tell you,
Bye.
I've got a
Thank
bunch
you.
of Java. I've got a bunch of Java and Fuel Shake